a top producer series, and I've done so many of these on Lab Code Agents, but this is obviously the first one for our leverage group with people. And
well, I am honored. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, because well, I wanted to start the series off with you, because you've done amazing over the years. And let me just introduce you. You're from Scottsdale Living, and you have grown that community, the different community groups, up to 74,000 members and 320,000 unique page views per month. Yeah. I mean, I want to know, I'm sure everybody, all the viewers also want to know how you do that. And then, of course, 27,450 interactions per month. Wow. And 110 million in sales volume in 5 years. I mean, wow, those are incredible numbers. So I'm just going to dive in, John. And I'm going to just pick your brain and ask you, how did you do that? Like, tell us, give us all your secrets.
Yeah, no, totally. So, I mean, it's a labor of love, right? So there's, at this point, it's gotten to where we have a great team. So I've got we run multiple different community groups. And so we have about 14 people now that help as moderators or admins on the different groups. And what we do is, I mean, we bring value and build community, right? And yeah, I think so many people, especially in real estate, get caught up in, AI can do this, drip campaigns can do this, auto texting can do this, and they forget that it's a people business. This is a people business, right?
We just talked about that earlier. Yes, we are in the people business, and that's something people, especially realtors, we need to be reminded of this, because we're so much into automation, John. We need to be aware that, it's not all about automation. It's about building relationships. Yeah. And how do you do that through community groups? Like, okay, so from the beginning, what was your thought process? Like, what were you thinking when you said, okay, I want to start a community group? What did you do next?
So, I mean, I had, for years and years and years as a realtor, I did the conventional kind of prospecting. I mean, I bought Google PPC leads and social media leads, and they convert at 1%, and it's all about speed to lead and follow-up systems and all that. And I just thought I didn't love it, right? It just wasn't as fun. So I thought by building, a small community group, that I'd be able to get my name out there and share, my city, Scottsdale, with other people that lived here or that were interested in being here. And it was never a real estate group. It's never been a real estate page. It's not about real estate. It's about community. So, we went out. The first thing that I found was that people love video. So we just went out with my iPhone, and I talked to business owners and restaurants and city council members and basically anybody that would talk to me, so I would sit down with people for, 20, 30 minutes and do Facebook Lives just like this and get their stories out there. And the more that we did that, the more people just really related and connected with it. So they just kept coming, and, we've just evolved. I mean, obviously we've learned how to do it at a higher level. So, I mean, we've got a lot of engagement. We know how to get information out there that people want to see or want to hear, or they want to know about. So, it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about building community through providing value. So, if we feel like we provide value and information that people want and share their stories, then more people will come, and they do, and it works.
And earlier we did talk about that, sharing value, sharing your stories, giving something to them giving something back to you when you talk about, value. What were the first initial questions you asked when you went out there to a business owner? Did you just say, hey, tell me a little bit about how you started your business? Is that something?
Yeah. So we've gotten really, we're really connected with the small business community now. So it didn't really start that way, but I mean, small business owners are the livelihood of our community, right?
It is.
Not only that, I mean, the beauty of it is, like, I get quite a bit of business from the community group as a whole, but I get a ton of business as well from the small business owners that are part of the community, because we represent them, we share them, so if somebody's looking for a pool service, we've got a pool service. If somebody needs this, somebody wants a great Italian restaurant, somebody needs an orthopedic surgeon, that information is there, and we share it. And by doing that, we've kind of built like just a raving referral network of people that want to do business with us and want us to do business with them. So,
So basically, you're the resource.
Yeah. So
You
what
are
it,
the hub of
yeah,
resource. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All
We
right. Yeah.
created, I guess I'm the digital mayor of Scottsdale right now, and, we have a conventional political system and a mayor and all that, but I get way more attention than the real mayor does. So it's kind of fun, but that's exactly what we did. I mean, I just put myself out there, and not as a real estate agent, but as a friend to the community, as a member of the community that was willing to share different stories and different things about the community. And it works the same for every community. I mean, look at Tristan and Lab Coat Agents and what you all have built. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You provide amazing value. You don't lead with sales, right? If I mean, I
No,
lead
not at
with
all.
sales, yeah, nobody would be on the page. You'd be totally transparent,
Exactly. Exactly.
so
And that's
provide
what
value.
that's exactly what we're here to do with leverage through people. We want to be able to help any realtor, excuse me, any realtor in the community, help them grow their business through
Yeah,
providing value, through providing resources, or through providing what makes a difference to grow your business, right? And this is
100%.
something. And Tristan and I own virtual assisting company, and then I have one of my own. But I learned so much from him, to be honest with you, John. And
Sure.
this is one of the things he had asked me to do, is that start a Facebook group and provide value.
Sure.
And that's what we're here to do, is provide value. But let's get back to your topic. It's community groups. How many community groups do you have? It's just Scottsdale Living, or do you have several?
Yeah, no, so now we've got Scottsdale Living and Tempe Living, Phoenix Living. And then we rolled out a subgroup that's a veterans group, a seniors group, a women's group, a small business group. Yeah, so I think we're up to like 6 or 7. And now I teach, this is a master class that I teach on how to build community groups. So hopefully we'll kind of spread it out all over the country. That's the game plan.
Yeah, and I'd love for you to post a link here as well for
Sure.
anyone that might be interested in that, because I think, like I said, when I interviewed you in Lab Coat Agents, I was just amazed, and I want to learn more about, like these community groups, how you're building them. But first, you said, obviously, talk to small businesses in your community.
Absolutely.
And then be the digital mayor of your community, provide value. What else do you do? Like, and how often do you do that?
Well, to start with, right? I mean, you got to do a lot because there's nobody else there. You're kind of just talking to yourself. But when you get out and you start meeting other businesses, they want to be part of it. They're excited too. They want to be part of growing something that gets their name out there, that gets their recognition out there. So, I mean, we started with talking to businesses. We do a lot of giveaways. So like every time I list a house, I do a guess the list price thing, and we put it up on the group a couple of days before it goes live, and we give away a $25 coffee card to whoever gets the list price to the closest, and I mean, a post like that will get, I don't know, 10,000, 12,000 people, engaging with it. So we do stuff like that. We've done a lot of restaurant giveaways, and we also help other small businesses, so we had a girl that owns a charcuterie company that makes charcuterie boards, and she posted one of her charcuterie boards, and everybody had to guess what was on it, right?
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
whoever guessed the most right things got the charcuterie board. That has nothing to do with real estate, but that has everything to do with community. So,
and that also in turn putting your name out there.
100%.
People will get to know you not only as one of the business, not only as one of the community members that live in Scottsdale, but also a realtor.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a fine balance there, right? You don't want to promote yourself. But if you can do it in, like the guess the list price thing is perfect, because then everybody knows you're a realtor, but you're not asking them for anything, you're giving them something, so
exactly right.
And I do a monthly market update, and I put right in there, it's like, hey, real estate related, if you don't like it, just scroll right on by. And you can't do it too much. I mean, if I was to do it weekly or every other day, it would get old and people wouldn't pay attention. But you can slowly bring your business into it. I mean, the bigger part of it is you need to get a core group of other business owners and other community leaders that are on your team, that you guys are a team together and you promote each other. So, if somebody comes on Scottsdale Living or Phoenix Living or Tempe Livings and they want a physical therapist, well, Amber's one of the admins on the pages, and she's a physical therapist, so we recommend
Wow.
her. And
Yeah.
if somebody wants a realtor, they're going to recommend me. So it's just about building that team.
So doing a B2B online,
Yeah, totally.
business to business online.
Yeah.
But it's not only one physical therapist, you can have as many.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we actually, so our next evolution, we built a community group. And from that, we actually built I don't know what you would call it, but it's Scottsdale Living Business Edition. And that's 1,400 businesses. So, we're bigger than the Chamber of Commerce. We're bigger than, any BNI group. We're bigger than any networking group out there at this point. And that just evolved from, a community page. So now we've got this really vibrant business community. And what's great about that is a lot of those businesses are insurance agents, they're estate lawyers, they're probate lawyers, they're divorce lawyers, they're people that need realtors, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's the people you want to interact with.
And in turn, it's helping you grow your real estate business. 110 million in 5 years of sales volume. All of that only from this one resource that you put time in. Let me ask you this. Let's go back way back when you started this about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And were you the only person that was sort of door knocking on business owners' doors and saying, hey, I want to interview you? And at that point, what was your script? What did you say to them? Hey, I just want to interview you because I've started a community group for our community.
Yeah, and I was, and that was one of the biggest mistakes I made was I did it by myself too long, right? Because there's no need to. You bring in help right away, right?
Right.
But yeah, I was the first one, and I kind of focused a lot on restaurants when I first got started because they were really easy. They want to get their name out there, they want to talk about it. So we went into one like Parma Italian Roots is a nice Italian restaurant up here, and we just talked to the chef. And we didn't really talk about the restaurant as much as we talked about him and his journey and, his, he's like a little mini Anthony Bourdain, he's been all over the country learning his craft. And that's kind of what we found is like, if you're going to go out and create videos to drive community and to build membership, people don't want pictures necessarily of the food or the restaurant or how things are cooked. They want to know the story. They want to know how the owner got there. They want to know about the bolognese recipe that his grandma created in Sicily in, the 1800s. That's the stuff they want to know, right? So,
yeah,
once you
enjoy stories.
Yeah, it's all about it.
Yeah, you have to be a storyteller. Yep, I totally hear you on that.
Yeah.
We do that a lot when we introduce you and you tell us your story. Same way, the reason we started Leverage Through People was because of that. And when we rewind it way back when, 18 years ago, I lost everything, when the foreclosure markets hit, I lost my home in Jersey and, just everything. And I moved here with less than $1,500. And
right. Wow.
I had to start back again, living with my parents. And I had 2 kids.
Wow.
And drove cross country, and, at that point when I started real estate here, I had no one that was no realtor wanted to help me.
Of course.
It was so sad. I was in a town that was very much all money minded in terms of very posh living, and the realtors were, if you don't have a Gucci handbag or a brand name handbag and you're not dressed out in brand name clothes all over, you're a nobody. You're never going to get successful. So I felt that uncomfortable feeling.
Of course, yeah.
And, I said, listen, I got to do this. And at that moment, when I was going through that, that's when I said to myself that, hey, I got to help other realtors grow their businesses. And that's where the support is coming from. I'm sure you have the same feeling when it came to this community groups as well, is that how can I help other businesses grow? Yeah. And in turn, make it a massive go-to community.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have more page view. We get more page views than any other website in the city. So we get more than the Chamber of Commerce, Experience Scottsdale, or the city itself. We are by far the biggest resource in the city at this point. And it's a Facebook group. That's crazy, but it's fun, and if you, and there's haters out there. There's people like, oh, you could have just Googled that. But here's the deal. When you Google good Italian restaurant, you get a list, right? You don't get
Yeah,
somebody that was there last night that tells you the story of the owner of the restaurant, and that's what the world's missing, is that community and that sense of ownership, of people saying, hey, this is my city and this is why I like this,
right.
rather than a 4-star review on Yelp, right?
Exactly. So first and foremost, you did videos.
Yeah.
How did people, and did you do videos every day, every other day? What
We
was
do
that?
probably two a week. Two
Two
a
a
week.
week.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you did that, did people just start joining the group? How did that come about to where you built the group to 74,000 members?
Yeah.
Like, how did the beginning stages work?
So in the beginning there was no one, right?
Right.
That was
Right.
me. But the beauty of doing video and featuring other people and promoting other people is that they want other people to see them. So if
Right.
you go into a restaurant, talk to a restaurant owner, or you go into, you talk to a city council member or somebody like that, they're going to share that video with all their friends, and their friends are going to share it. And, it's all comes back to you and your community group. So they help you organically grow it. And that's a big thing. I'm a big believer in, I think Facebook got one thing right? And that's community
Yes.
groups,
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
I see so many realtors or businesses that go out and create a Facebook business page, and they put so much time and effort and energy into it. And you know what? Nobody goes to it. It doesn't get any traction.
Yeah, right.
So the one thing Facebook did well was the community groups, and they grow organically. You can't advertise to them, you can't do paid
Right.
advertising. And so it's just, it grows by sharing it. When you share with other people, they share it, and it just compounds. And, I also think there's some kind of algorithm within Facebook. When you hit certain milestones, Facebook starts to naturally promote it as well.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So
Okay.
yeah.
I've not been there yet.
Yeah.
That's the goal, to get there with the
Yeah.
leverage
Totally.
that we're
Totally.
in. But at the same time, I definitely want to start something like that here,
Sure.
to where, we can start talking about Fremont living, or, start talking to different businesses, small businesses. And then, of course, posting that up. I love what you said, is that sharing the video. So you share that video on the business owner's page, the Facebook
Well,
page?
no, so we host everything. So,
Okay.
I mean, we've evolved a little bit, right? I mean, we have a podcast, so we're on Spotify and Apple and Google and all that. And, we built out a podcast studio, and we got a YouTube channel. But originally, we hosted everything within Facebook, because Facebook loves its own material. So,
Right.
the video would go on the community group page, and we would just share the link, so the business owner would get the link and they could share it on their personal page. That's how it kind of went out. But we just learned, one thing I give a tip to anybody that wants to do something like this is that it sounds crazy, but you need to control events, video, anything out there that you want associated with your group. Because if you just allow other people to do that and put it on your group, you never know what it's going to be. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that they're selling Avon or MLMs, and I'm not picking on them, but I mean, it's not genuine. They'll be like, oh, come to this event this weekend and learn how to do this, but it's actually a sales pitch, and people go there and they're being pitched to. So, we just learned that over time, right? There's nothing, there's no events that go on, there's no videos that get posted that we don't produce or vet. I mean, we just vet them to make sure they're legit.
And so basically, produce and vet the videos itself before they go on the community group.
Yeah, and I mean, I started out with an iPhone, right? I just had an iPhone, and I bought this. So I got this little Bluetooth speaker, right?
Oh yeah, I have that too.
It had a little snowball, so that's
Yeah.
that's what I had. And the one thing you do need is you need a speaker, because the iPhone speaker is just not that great for video, for interviews. But that was it. I mean, I had an iPhone and a speaker, and I would sit down and we would talk, and here we go, and and that's all you need. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be over the top.
And people will join as they get to know the groups.
Yeah.
And even the podcast, people will start joining the podcast series once they get to know what the topic is all about. Same here with Leverage Through People. People will start joining once they see that, wow, these are successful realtors that we're interviewing, and we're getting tidbits of nuggets from them
100%. Yeah.
of how to do certain, and that's obviously value, providing value. We're also looking to start our podcast, through leverage through people.
Sure.
And kind of grow that community out as well through podcast. Once people start joining, do they post about their business at all, or talk
Yeah, so
about?
we don't allow business posts, right? So there's
Okay.
we don't allow business posts. We do allow businesses to respond to, if somebody comes on the page and says, hey, I need a handyman, then of course, the handyman can all respond. I don't allow realtors, so there's no realtors on the page, and
Right.
that's, and more than, it wasn't necessarily because they just don't stop. You know what I mean? There's too many
Yeah.
realtors that are really, really aggressive and want to private message people and get over the top. So we don't allow the realtors. We don't allow business posting, but we do things like Marketing Monday, right? So on every Monday, we say, hey, this is your chance as a business owner to tell us about your business. And we create one post, and all the businesses can post the information about their business underneath that post. And that post probably gets 400 or 500, interactions every single week, every Monday, and then we do a working Wednesday. So we have a post every Wednesday that's just for people that are hiring or that are looking for jobs. We do a housing post on Tuesdays. That's where anybody that has a place that they want to rent, or they need someplace to rent, or whatever they're looking for, they can post on that. So, we find big key topics and we try to consolidate it and make it easy for people to use.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So it
different
works out.
topics on different days.
Yeah. Yep.
And you just say, okay, today's your day. If you're looking to, talk a little bit more about your business, go ahead.
Yep.
And this is your opportunity to post.
100%.
I love that.
Yeah.
In the community group, because you're not cluttering it by the
Right.
business. The businesses are not cluttering it by talking about them every single day.
Right.
But you have one particular day. All right. So nugget number 2 or 3. Here we go. Actually, I think that's more like 4 or 5 of them, because we talked about,
Love it.
like the video, we talked about the game, the giveaways that you said. We talked about, the core groups coming together. Right. And then the subgroups that you created from the different communities, like
100%.
for women, for veterans. So many pieces of nuggets here. That this is awesome.
I'll tell you one that was amazing. We did a restaurant giveaway, right? So we went out to a ton of, we ended up with about 75 different restaurants, and we just approached them and said, hey, look, we're going to do this restaurant giveaway, and we're going to give one person a gift card to every single one of these restaurants, so it ended up being like, I think $1,500 worth of gift cards to restaurants all throughout town. And, they donated the gift cards. So, it didn't, I would just ask them, hey, can you give us a $25 gift card, or 50 or 100 or whatever? So the person that won, and we do this every year now, they get to go out every week and try out a new restaurant, and we use that one a little bit more as a marketing thing, because we made them actually go onto a website and put in their email. So we captured their email and all that. And now that's the basis of our newsletter. So we send out, a weekly newsletter, and that's how we capture the email information. But that's a great way to get contact information and get permission to stay in touch with them. And it didn't cost a dime. It was just just legwork. It was like, we went out there and just found all these different restaurants that wanted the exposure, and we pushed it for like a month, and we shared all the restaurants and said, hey, today we're talking about, Detroit Coney Grill, or today we're talking about the Keg Steakhouse, or whatever, and we promoted them every time. And somebody, it was a cool thing to win. The lady that won it, she still raves about it today, and she's still using the guest cards, so kind of cool.
Wow, that is awesome. So you only did it once. Do you still do it once a month?
We do it once a year. Once a year. That's a lot, right?
I was gonna say, like, wow, okay, so
that one's a lot.
Yeah, so this promotion is once a year. Yeah. But hey, in return, you do get their email address to add them to the newsletter. And you do, and so when you go to these businesses and these different restaurants, all you say is that this is what we're going to do in return. You give us a $25 gift card, but we're going to promote you on the community group. And they don't know the community group, or do they know the community group already? Some
of them do, some of them don't, right? But it's a lot easier now, because I can tell them, hey, 300,000 people are going to see your business in the next month.
Yeah.
At first it wasn't that, right? But
and I don't think we should start off with that, obviously. Like if I were to go out and do this, I mean, the page is not even fine. So I see what
Right.
you're saying. So you did that once you got more people there.
Yeah, we did that once we got a little bit bigger. One of the first things we did it, and again, this is a community group, so it's a little bit different because
Right.
everybody's here. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's not a national thing, it's a local thing.
Yeah.
But we did a golf outing. That worked great. We had a ton of volunteers. We filled it up. We had 144 golfers, and we raised money. We raised like, I don't know, I think $6,000 for a local charity. So the golf outing was a lot of fun, and we do a ton of events. We didn't even touch on that, but we do. We do 2 workshop Wednesdays a month where that's for small businesses, and we bring in like a subject matter expert, and it's not like a BNI group. We actually bring in professional marketers, like somebody to talk about TikTok ads or Instagram ads or SEO. So we do that twice a month. We do potluck dinners. We had Santa where everybody could come and get free pictures with Santa. We do happy hours. We just did a thing with the Westin actually, which is really cool. So the Westin here in Scottsdale, we did a disco in the desert. So that was Saturday night, and it was it was a disco theme thing at the Westin, and it was, they sold it out. So that was, I think, 700 tickets. And yeah, it was a riot. So we do a lot of stuff, and we did those all along. We've always done really, but difference is when we first started, there'd be 6 people, and now there's 800, but that's 6 people. Next time it's 9, and then it's 12, and then it's 15.
Be consistent in whatever you do.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think with your success, you were always consistent.
Yeah. We just keep it coming.
Right. Keep it coming. And you built it out now to 74,000 and growing. Like the last time I spoke to you was 72.
Yeah.
And you're at 74. Next time I speak to you, it'll probably be 76. Who knows, right? That keeps.
Yeah. We add probably 300 or 400 a week. So it's a lot, Yeah. But it's the same thing you're doing. You got the exact same, the same heart, right? You want to bring value, and you want to provide, great tidbits and information for the people that are in your group, and you're going to kill it. It's all about community now, right? It's all about community.
And then again, we're in the people business, we're in the relationship business. I think we should keep that in our minds as realtors and business owners, and we want to be able to help grow through, and now you're leveraging all these different groups, these community groups with people in place.
Totally.
Right. You've got different moderators, you've got admins. You've got people controlling and taking care of the groups as well. You're not constantly on there, monitoring that or nothing, because you've got the right people in place, and that it takes people. Again, see, that's a relationship you built. With these admins and moderators, and now they're helping out, and that's again, AI can't do that.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah. And believe it or not, we actually. So we have VAs that we work with that help with the groups as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. Because it's it's a machine at this point, because there's thousands of requests every month for members, for posts, for this, for that, and it can be overwhelming, and it's so we need help.
And you do have to go in there, and you have to make sure they're not competitors, or that you want, especially realtors, like you said.
We can make sure they're not scammers. You get so many scammers. Yeah,
and you have to monitor that, and you can't just leave it as an open group where everyone and anyone can join. It has to be a closed group, I'm assuming. Is that correct?
Well, so we were a public group until about a month ago, right? Okay. So what happened is it just got to a point, and I don't know if everybody knows the difference, but on a public Facebook group, everybody can see it. So everybody can see what's said. Everybody can see the responses. You can't participate unless you're approved, but you can see it. So the problem we were having, somebody would go on there and say something like, hey, I need help with a website. I need somebody to help me with WordPress. And all of a sudden they would get 200 messages to their inbox. So we had to go private. It was a sad day for me, because I just always wanted it to be a resource for everybody. But it just, we literally vet every single thing that happens on our pages. So everybody that's approved as a member, we reviewed all their stuff. We made sure they answered the questions. We made sure they have a real profile. We do our best to make sure it's legit. And we do the same thing with every post, so if you don't, you just get a runaway group of spam is what you get,
Yeah. And when you move them, so do you recommend the groups to be public or private in the beginning?
I think when you start, you want to be public 100%. It's going to be it's a lot more headache because you got to really pay attention.
Yeah.
But Facebook's gotten better at it too, because Facebook's got spam filters in place now. And, you know, we built out all of the keywords so we can identify anytime there's conflict going on, or, you know, somebody's talking about politics, or somebody's talking about religion or whatever. So there's a whole bunch of systems in Facebook now where you can kind of monitor that a little bit. But I would definitely start up public to begin with, because everybody can see it. You know, everybody, you know, you're going to get to a point where you just have to go private, or people leave the group because they just get so much spam, you know.
Exactly. And all of this we can learn what you learn from the link that you just posted, actually the Facebook group masters.com is we can learn all this from as well, correct?
Yeah, so we built it. I just had a ton of people that wanted it, so we built a class out of it. And you know, it's step by step exactly what I did. And it's, you know, if you're a realtor out there that sells $50 million a year, or you got a $100 million team, this is not you, right? That's right. But I mean, if you're a solo practitioner and you want to, you know, you want to make a good living for your family, and you want to have time for your family rather than chasing leads like crazy, this is you know, this is a really, really good way to do it. You know, it's not going to make you $100 million a year team, but it can make you a $10 million a year agent, you know, no problem.
Right.
So,
and you grow, you grow, and you slowly grow that through time and through consistency and being on top of it, to eventually building it out to where you are now, and of course growing from them. And I'm so impressed, 110 million in 5 years of sold volume as a realtor, just from this one source. Amazing. That's awesome. John, I always want to say this. Thank you so much. You're full of information and full of guidance, at least for me and all our audiences out there. We'll definitely invite you back in a couple of months, because I want this to remain consistent in helping, you know, grow, helping realtors grow their business. Thank you for your time, John.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks, everyone. Bye.